This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors who make this content possible. Thank you for your support.
Hey, I'm Michael.
I'm Ralph.
Welcome to Muñoz and Muñoz.
Come check it out. Here at Muñoz and Muñoz, every case is important to us. Big or small or big, we're here to help you.
And here also, privacy is our #1 priority for all of our clients. So come check it out. Our #1 priority is serving the community. We want to give the best attorney service out there in the industry. We're here to help you. Please call us for any personal injury or criminal defense needs that you may need.
So thank you guys for visiting our firm. As you can see, I'm here, Michael's here, always ready to serve you guys for any questions. And please, do not hesitate to call us for anything you need. It could be the simple question, we're here for you. Y sí, hablamos español.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everybody, this is Danielle with Prospectors Federal Credit Union, now Certified Federal Credit Union. Guess what? It's that time of year again. The holidays are coming up. You guys are going to be spending, getting those gifts for all of your loved ones. And I just wanted you guys to know that we can help you save money and get those balances down, especially with the credit cards that you use with those high interest rates. Bring it on over to us. We have low fixed rates starting at 8.9. We don't go above 17.9. And if you want a balance transfer, you can get 0% for 6 months. Imagine what you can pay off with that. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, 909-504-7371. Again, I'm Danielle with Prospectors Federal Credit Union, also now Certified Federal Credit Union. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great one.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Connect Now. We are here. It's a Monday morning, 7 a.m. Monica's excited. She loves 7 a.m. mornings and stuff. So she's a morning person, everybody. Right?
As you can see.
As you can see. But make sure you guys watch the previous episodes. Last week, we just had Anthony Fernandez. He is our good friend. He's the Modelo man. So you might be seeing him popping up at different colleges, and of course,
I did. I saw it this weekend.
You saw it this weekend, yes.
It was great.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I know that guy.
Were you watching it with Dave, though, at least?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, Dave was there with you. All right, I'm making sure. So we have some special guests, and we're excited for this one. And I know they're excited, too. I can see it in their faces.
Yes. I know. We've attended a lot of great events. I mean, they've invited us, and we've had a great time meeting different people. I mean, the connections that they have go like, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh. And they have, they're very respected in their own communities. So.
Yes, very respected.
Yeah,
we're proud to have this partnership. We're excited about this partnership. And it's just begun. So who do we have?
Yes, we have two beautiful ladies with the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
We have Anna Rios Olivia Rios and Ana Sauceda here today. So welcome, ladies.
Well, thank
you for
having us.
So I got to get some clarity real quick, Anna.
Sure.
Is it Saucedo or Sauceda? Because people are...
Sauceda.
That's what I thought. But some people are saying the O in the end.
I know. I have to correct them.
Yeah, see, I told you. Because at the convention, I was like, they said it wrong. I hear certain things and stuff. Yes. But welcome to the show. You guys are proud sponsors.
Absolutely.
Proud sponsors of the...
It's been long overdue. Overdue.
Well, we had Daryl, your husband, and he did an amazing job. And then we were like, well, we got to bring Anna. We got to get her point of view and stuff.
Yes.
So now it's Anna's turn, and then we got the right here, the woman that is behind the scenes that gets a lot of things moving too is Olivia. So it's exciting.
I know. Wonderful. So share with us exactly what your title is, and we'll start with Olivia. And what are your responsibilities as for the chamber, and then we'll move on to Anna.
Alrighty, well, thank you first and foremost for having us. We're really excited to be here. It's been a long time coming. I know that I know a little bit about the greater West Covina, especially Let's Connect, and you guys are doing amazing work in the community. So
thank you.
Congratulations on that. I'm Olivia Rios, Director of Operations and Programs, and the title itself is a lot. I call myself DOE, Director of a lot of things. But, my responsibility is to ensure that the organization, the chamber, moves forward. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work. Operations is a lot. There's accounting, there's policies, making sure that I work for the board. Our chairman Daryl Salceda. So we got to make sure that our board is aligned with a lot of the things that we do. Communicating, creating agendas for board meetings, and pretty much being the support for the leadership. And then on the program side, I pride myself on a lot of the programs that we do. We have a lot of sponsors and supporters, and my goal is to ensure that we reach their goals. Every organization has to reach certain parameters, and every year there's new things that come up. So we got to make sure that the chamber is aligned with their vision and that we execute their goals in a timely fashion. And so programming comes from events in person, webinars, and just even being out in the community.
Wow.
Yeah, DOE.
I know, for
DOE.
sure.
It's not Doge, but DOE, Director of a lot of things.
Everything.
Just like me.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
No, that's my title.
You're DOE too?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to start a support group for it. and Anna, go ahead. Would you introduce yourself too?
Well, thank you for having us. I've been looking forward to this. But as you know, I have the same last name as the chair, Daryl Salceda, who I'm so proud. Not only is he this amazing business owner, we both own a construction company, local business, but it's been a long time coming. And as the chair of the LA Latino Chamber, Daryl and I really have been aligned in many things. I'm all things business, all things strategy. Over the years, I worked in a lot of community efforts that have given me strength in partnerships and relationships, and I have earned it, and I appreciate the fact that we build upon it now with this chamber. As a local business person in LA, and now we're spreading out to other counties in California. Business strategies and business partnerships are very, very important. And so if it works for us, why not do it for others? And so we live upon the fact that too much who's given, much is required. That is what I live by. And so every day I wake up and make sure that I am absolutely available and responsible for not only myself, but for just really strengthening what I can do for the business communities that we serve. So as part of the LA Latino Chamber, I chair the Corporate Advisory Board. So what I've done is, when Olivia and I came to these leadership roles, anything we did was going to be good. But we made sure anything we did became great.
Yes.
Because our communities deserve it, our businesses need it, and it gives us that elevation that we need to be the best that we can be in the chamber world. So the LA Latino Chamber, we created strategies in the last 2 years. We were the Chamber of the Year for the United States, U.S. Hispanic Chamber. Yes. Last year, we were the Chamber of the Year for the California Hispanic Chamber. Again, very intentional. Our strategies were important. They were built upon what makes chambers great, and that is the 4 pillars, programming, policy, procurement, and partnerships. So everything we do is aligned in those. And our board, we built a great board. Not only did we build a great board of business owners, but we built a board of corporate leaders, and that's where I came in, being able to identify them and, as a team, Daryl, Olivia, and I, we strengthened our relationships. As you know, when you're in this world, you become friends, family, and they become your family, right?
That's true.
And so it just is not us. It is a family of chamber members and chamber friends that have really allowed us to be as successful as we are today.
I love it.
Wow. I know in the last couple months, attending, some of the events that you have hosted have been very elevated events. I mean, I've been at awe, like, oh my God, this event is so
since we
great.
got introduced
I
to them,
mean,
yeah.
just recently, you hosted your, 11th annual golf tournament, and that was amazing. We had an opportunity to, volunteer and really see all the great people that support the chamber. I mean, you had a full house. We've been to a couple of other golf tournaments, and they're still, at the last minute trying to get people to, to golf and to fill those carts. But you guys were full. You guys were sold out technically, right?
So technically, most of our events sell out or halfway sold out by the time we publish them.
Yeah.
So people know, call at the beginning of the year. They ask for our dates, and they either buy foursomes or they buy tickets in advance. So pretty much, Anna, don't you say everything's sells out?
Well, because you guys do it amazing. I mean, even the Havana nights we were
Oh my God.
just the events that you guys have us being a part of and being able to be there has been amazing. Since we've met, you three, Daryl and yourself, and then introducing us to other people, it's been very welcoming. And being able to stand and see, because sometimes, when you do meet people, like you said, you want to see what they're about and how other people treat them and stuff. So being a part of what you guys have been putting together and going to those events and seeing the quality of the events and the type of caliber of people that are at those events, and people are still trying to get to the event, but it's just like, okay, we're in the right place. Me and Monica are like, we're in the right place. I think we're right
It
there.
was a natural alignment to you two as well, because when we went back, when we met you, we were like, wow, this is something, a component that we don't have. And it didn't mean we had to develop ourselves. It meant that we had to identify the right partners to do that. And you are experts in your field, and so you bring a whole new level of your expertise, and I just want to thank you. I think it's just so great. I've seen some of the work you've done so far in our events, and I'm thinking this is such a natural partnership. So thank you. It's working out so
Well, it's
well.
just the beginning, right? We got a
know.
lot of things planned. I mean, I can't wait,
And I've learned a lot from both of you. I mean, the conversations that I have with you, Olivia, and you're so helpful. At the same time, when I talk to Anna, the same thing. I just feel like there's so much still for me to learn, and I want to learn from the best. I want to learn from women that are leading, that have creative minds, because that's the way we learn, right? It's to just like pick people's brains that allow you to do that, and I think you guys have allowed us to do that. And there's so much more today. In fact, before you got here, we were having a conversation about that, and I'm like, how is she going to find time to help us? But we appreciate it a lot.
No. I think a true partnership is when it's a win-win for both. You can't have any partnership when it's one-sided. And you add so much to our chamber. The partnership is just outstanding, and I can always learn from both of you. So we have a wealth of information, a wealth of connections, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't not execute, share, and grow together.
But Anna, I want to know, because you and Daryl are a power couple. I look at it. I mean, when I'm with Daryl, he gives me a lot of nuggets. I mean, a lot of nuggets. And I like it. And some people I have heard like, oh, you got to be. Daryl sometimes is very stern and this and that, but I get along. Daryl, we get along. I get along with Daryl, and I want to keep it like that. No, because I look at him as a mentor, because every time I'm with him, I've learned to be a good listener when I'm with you guys, because and that's where the key is with people like yourselves that you have a successful business. Now the LA Latino Chamber, it's doing its thing, and it's very successful, and individuals like ourselves that are younger, we need to learn and take hold of what you have to say and the things that you're giving out, because we can miss it. But what are some of the things that drive you to continue to do what you do? Because you ladies are always doing women empowerment events, and I'm tired because I want a men empowerment event. But what empowers you to keep doing what you're doing?
I don't only think, but I know it's just living with gratitude. I get up every day, and I am so grateful for the fact that God woke me up today. And he's like, I'm going to use you. And many a times I'm like, use me up. I don't even know. I still know that I am a woman who makes a lot of mistakes, who needs to learn things. And I think that's the exciting part of it. I'm learning something right now, just, sitting here with us. Olivia and I are in the office, and we throw things at each other all day. It becomes very funny and just sometimes, delirious. We're doing it all day long. But it's that, you thrive off of each other, because when
Yes.
you are aligned with people who are so passionate and purposeful and the same things you are, it just clicks, and it's just heartfelt, And so to answer your question, you really have to love what you do. And as I've been so grateful, the jobs that I've had through my life, I always told myself, if you can get in the car and love where you're driving to, you should be really grateful, because there are many people who get up and have to go to work because they need to provide for their
Yes.
families and themselves. And I feel sad for them. And those are the women we want to connect with. Life isn't over yet. There is an absolute opportunity to be able to diversify your skill sets and again, your mindset. It's interesting you said that, Monica, because that's where I've been living. I've been living in the world of mindset. It begins with everything, your mindset, your willingness to just be open to opportunity and the ability to appreciate all things, good or bad, right? Because sometimes we're like, that didn't work, right? And we just figure out what didn't work and we learn from it. But, it's surrounding yourself with people who just really can appreciate each other. And I believe that's what we have. We have a really good winning team. We had a early morning board meeting. Olivia set up a Zoom this morning, and I just love the fact that, the common thread is the passion, and of course knowing that it is so intentional for us to understand who we are now. We're all successful people to what extent? If you can't share it with others and teach others, how purposeful is it? How much can you keep and use for yourself without not feeling fulfilled, right? So I just love, as you could tell, the work of people, really, the work of the chamber, and just the work of community and building businesses, building communities, building cities, but more importantly, just being fulfilled in knowing that I made a difference in Monica or Jay or something I learned from Olivia or Daryl today. It's just so that important right now in this time in our world to understand, we wake up every day to be used, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we feel. We feel every day that we come to our office, and as we carpool, and it's like I already know I prepare myself mentally because I already know I'm gonna get an earful. I don't know what it's going to be, but but at the end of the day,
energy.
But at the end of the day, it's his passion for what he does. I mean, sometimes you don't really know how to explain it, so I have to pull out my Urban Dictionary and be like, he meant this. But he means well.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I see. Something that doesn't get recognized a lot is all the hard work that people do behind the scenes, right? We've been behind the scenes with both of you. And I've seen Anna, it's like nonstop with the golf tournament. I saw you're just with, you have all your stuff. It's like the to-go lady for everything. You know how to this has to be like this has to be like that. I mean, I got a little nervous, because I was selling mulligans and, getting to know the people to buy, and people were excited about it.
And I did good, by the way.
And then, the raffle tickets, I tried at the end to
that's
sell
what I
them,
did.
but
I
then
did good.
I gave them to him, and he sold them, and I was like, wait a minute, what happened there? But it was exciting to see the all the behind the scenes work that goes into the events that you guys put together. And I'm just because you have it organize all the people that volunteer, whether it's your board members or just, regular members that come, and everybody that I have met has been very nice. I mean, it's just to me, you guys have done phenomenal jobs with these events and having us, add a little bit to what you're doing. It's great for us. We have a good feeling, but your passion definitely shows in what you do, and there's so much more for us to see. So I'm excited for you, Olivia, to share like the events that are coming up, because you were sharing a little bit, and I'm like, save it for the show.
Yeah, because she won't ask you.
Yeah,
because she already knows.
Then I'll forget, and then But I want you to share those great events that are coming up, because I feel that some of our members could also benefit from these events. And so please share with us, what's upcoming and how can we get involved and
So thank you for asking. The programs are really vital to the organization, and we firmly believe that we provide a lot of resources, not just in form of content, but also personal development. We have Faces of Resilience that's coming up in the next couple weeks, actually. October 7th at Vespaio, an Italian restaurant in downtown LA, which happens to be my favorite restaurant.
Nice.
For now. But Faces of Resilience really started back in 2021. Anna was getting calls, I was getting calls, and we saw that there was a need because there was a common thread. Women were experiencing, it was during COVID. We saw that women were now not just the breadwinners, but they were at home. The children were home. So you were not only a professional, you were a mom, you were a wife, you were, a caretaker to your parents. And what was all that causing? I know Anna got a lot of calls. You want to share some of your stories?
I just think it was calls that, we would share with each other, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, people were finally realizing that it was so much easier to go to work and have caregivers take care of their children, or they went home and they're like, who is this guy that I'm married to? We really had to learn how to spend not only time, but create quality time.
Yeah.
And so what we went back, and because we got a lot of calls from women, and they were really, it was painful. And we realized that, we had to create a space and just like they say, let's have real talk with real women about real issues and create that space, a safe space for it.
Space, yeah.
And again, I'm sorry, Jared, but we did it for women. And anything we do for women, men always want to come. I tell you, we're like, Olivia, should we let them in? Should we? And I
We
think,
do.
and it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very emotional for us, because we didn't realize what we were doing at the time we were doing it. We had a friend, a corporate sponsor. It actually was Union Bank at that time.
Correct.
And her name was Sylvia Castillo. And again, she was very, very intentional too about wanting to highlight women. And so when we created the platform, not only did we create it with her, she loved it, but we pulled her into it. And what we didn't realize and what she didn't realize, it became a very important time for her too, because we always think that all these other people who are in the leadership roles don't go through what we go through.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And so Faces of Resilient was just that. It
brought the commonality in a
Yep.
lot of the women,
Yep.
because you realize that, what you're going through and you're not sharing. Well, guess what? At Faces of Resilient, we were addressing that. And the first couple of years, it was all Zoom. But what really brought it together was once we started having it in person, it really bonded you with those women, because the topics are important. Not only from mental health, but from a place of vulnerability. You're sharing your story, you're sharing your experience. And what does that mean for someone who's in the audience, whether it was on Zoom or in person? You could have a relationship, you have compassion. It's true life. I mean, it hits your core. And in some cases, we saw women crying because we know it was so relevant to what they were experiencing but couldn't voice it. And so the key word was resilience, because that kept resurfacing. So how this came about, we started kind of just jotting notes and just, kind of scribbling, and we came up with the logo and what would that look like. And if you look at our assets, it's a circle with the flower and R. and that's for
Yeah, I see.
resilience.
Nice.
I saw it. It's nice.
I like
It's
it,
very
and I believe men could, I got invited. Thank you. I'm going to be able to be there, but we can learn, because at the end of the day, it's women expressing or certain topics, but we can learn from that too as men. We go through life as well, and we got to learn. I get told that I have to be a little bit on that side to be patient and understanding, because men, sometimes we're not understanding, and so to be able to go to this type of event, I could understand a little bit more and things in things the way the women go through their stuff.
It also helps you with your relationship at home. Your wife or significant other might not be sharing. But now that you see it, through a second hand or third hand, you're able to understand sometimes some of the challenges that they're facing, because sometimes we don't want to share too much. We're too prideful, or they're going to think I'm weak.
No, yeah,
And you're
That's
absolutely
true.
you're absolutely
That's true.
right about that, because me being so active in what I was doing with the Greater West Covina during that time, and every day it became, I picked up the phone, somebody had passed. I think we lost like 6 different members that were business owners, and it was just, it became very overwhelming. I think the first 2 times I cried. After that, I couldn't. I became numb, because it was just one call after another during that time, and I think my husband was just more quiet, because I wasn't sharing what I was feeling, and I was just absorbing it and try to hold on to it. I think that's when the call came in, because I saw what he was doing with the podcast, and I wanted to create a space where people can come and share, not knowing that it's a lot harder to share what you're going through. Versus like, I wasn't able to. I was holding on to it, and he couldn't understand, because sometimes I would be angry, and I just want to go back to work, and it was like too much time spent with him in the home too. It was like wow.
I love you, but I need my space.
Yes, because sometimes I just wanted to cry by myself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it
men,
was,
we're about solution.
yes,
we want to
and
give you the
where
solution.
you just, and like sometimes I'm just like, and I think my podcast at that time, I wanted it to be where people can come and cry with me and tell me, how did this change you? What kind of, because we all came back to work different, and I think me now knowing about what how this resilience, Faces of Resilience started, it brings me back to to want to share a little bit of that, but I can understand it, why women in business, we're not that strong either. We're human beings, and I never did get to share about that, so this is my moment. But thank you for that. I'm continue.
So what is the topic for this one? What's the topic?
So it's women, wealth, and owning your legacy.
Ooh.
And so
like
for
that.
the first time, we have Thrivent Financial as a sponsor. And so shout out to Thrivent. And they're really looking into the Latina market in a couple of cities throughout the country. They selected the LA Latino Chamber as a supporter for their financial, reaching out to Latinas in the financial space. But what is it, you can have wealth, but what does wealth mean? Owning your own legacy. And I think by attending the program and the speakers that we have, which include our moderator, Cristina Sanchez from Ultimed, we have Sonia Navarro from Thrivent, who is their marketing manager. We have Dr. Sonia Molina. She owns her own practice, but she's also a philanthropist. And then we have Rachel Barbosa, who will be joining us in the program. But the key is to what does wealth mean, and how do you leave a legacy? Many of us are transitioning. If you're in your 30s and 40s, you're transitioning from one job to another. Yeah. Do you take your 401k? Do you have a 401k? Are you looking for retirement? For women in their 40s and 50s, have I started my Roth? Have I, do I have money saved away? You start receiving these Social Security thingies, your document of, if you retire at 70, what does that look like? Are you prepared? Do you make enough? Do you have enough saved? And when you're 50s and 60s, because I'm in that category, did I start early? Am I saving enough? Stop buying dresses. There was one woman who shared many years ago, stop buying shoes, but buy buildings, I think.
Ooh, I like that.
So, you really have to look at your future, because I'm single. So I'm a solo earner. What does that mean for me? And there's many women in that same space. But Anna, you can also share about our program.
So I loved everything she said, because it's exactly what we were not only feeling, but what is most important. What we've learned to do is be generous listeners. Many times corporate partners, as you know, will want you to back into a program, and when it's money, you would do so. And at the end of the day, you're like, well, did that really impact not only us as a chamber or other people, business owners? And so we really had to make sure that we were relevant and we were committed to the right things. And so it's so funny, just to take you a step back. During COVID, Daryl deemed us essential, whether we were essential or not. So we were essential workers, but we were an essential chamber. And because we had that attitude, they knew they could call us anytime. Not only were they small businesses that were, really dealing with lack of workforce, nobody wanted to go to work, with sick workforce, with minimal work coming in. We heard it all, and it broke our hearts, because we know these people. They were our families, and the advice we could give them was very minimal. We were learning as we go. I did really have a feeling of a couple of things that I really wanted. My personal commitment was to really strengthen their spiritual need, because the lack of really hurt a lot of people out there. They didn't know where to turn, and in that time, they realized that they found comfort in us and other things. And so, in addition to the Faces of Resilience, we had fellowship with women, and it really does go hand in hand, because again, we go back to homes, and if we can strengthen that inner peace and that commitment to just all things good, and when things are not working, that things will get better. And so, we're very careful. We had a very safe space, but we were realizing that Faces of Resilience was something really important to these women and the men. The men did show up, and they loved it. In fact, we started having conversations with them. Well, when are we going to do one for men?
Yes.
When are we going to do one for men?
Yes.
And I thought that is really cool, because men don't really have those spaces to have that kind of conversation, right? And I was like, I feel like you, Monica, sometimes I was like, you want to ride it in today? I'm like, what is that going to take? 45 minutes in the car with this guy, and I have to like space myself, because by the time I get to work, I'm like, it's a lot. It's a lot, right? So we would have all these conversations, and we were realizing we live what we were not only teaching but providing, in that space. And so all the speakers, the questions we had were questions that really were not asked of us or them. And there were a lot of crying, a lot of tears, and they were healing tears, and they were, it's so emotional. It's so emotional, where whether it was an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, nobody wanted to leave. And we thought, when's the next one? And so
I wish I knew about it.
It was really a very, very important program that we had, and people ask us for it all the time. And the thing is, we're so proud that we didn't sell it out to it becoming something else. It became something that needed to be in a space that we provided, and we still do. And so we're so looking forward to it, because Olivia's right. Many of the women now, that whether they, it was beyond pivoting, right? They either closed their doors, or they just really had to redefine themselves, reinvent, build on their skill sets, all of these things. Women are working longer in life, and so we appreciate that. They're the hardest working, I think, working class, because it's whatever it takes to get the job done. That's just who we are as women. And so in doing this, again, we're creating that space, and if we can create an opportunity to teach them about financial legacy, we were not raised like that. Our mothers and fathers and either our grandparents didn't have those conversations, where there was a lot of humility and tradition in our households, where we provide, and God will provide what we can, and all this other conversation we have. But it's a really important time to have these conversations with the planning group. I was really excited because Olivia was crafting the platform, and then when we got the experts, what we call subject matter experts when it comes to this, we're like, wow, this is really a very good time for us to do this. It's not too late. It's actually a really, really important time. So again, I believe we have about 125 people. We're probably
nice.
almost sold out, as we always do, because our voice is so important. And really, what I think these women don't understand, and men, is that our voice is really not our voice. It's their voice. It's being amplified. You know what I mean? Which is really a cool thing. So again, you'll see when you attend Faces of Resilience, really what it is. It's beyond a face. It's this energy. It's this, people went home. I think the next day we got so many emails, right?
Many emails and
Texts,
texts,
calls,
yeah.
and it just filled, you'd say it filled your cup, it filled your soul, because it did. It's something that is so needed, and I'm so glad you're going to be attending, Monica, because I think we should even.
I'm excited to be in the back with Daryl.
We could do a podcast on something like
that
this,
would be
because,
amazing.
as I mentioned, it doesn't matter the level or the professional title you have. Women are women. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that we have a sisterhood of just understanding. It's time right now for us to love each other, nurture each other, and just really, really be open to the fact that we're better together, as we say, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. Is there going to be, so is it a panel and then some networking? Is there separated in groups? I mean, what takes place?
So it'll be networking.
Okay.
And we have a moderator and panel speakers. And then we have a reception afterwards. So there's heavy appetizers. And you can stick around, have maybe, a beverage or glass of wine. But it's really a good opportunity to meet other women, to meet other supporters, and really look at the landscape of what does women and financial planning have to do. I know that if you were to ask me to a financial planning event, I'd probably say no. But this is not a financial planning segment.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was
It's
going to
not.
say that the majority of some of the invitations that we get for these kinds of things, I think it's a very personal thing, that I would, that I would have my husband probably, pick whoever he has already. But because of the way that, because of everything that you've said, I want to be there, because there's some things that I can maybe take back to him and say, hey, maybe we missed this. Hey, have you showed me this? Or we haven't talked about this. Explain everything to me, because I don't even know the process. Like, if you pass, like, what am I supposed to do? Who do I call? Where do I go? What am I supposed to do? Vice versa, right?
It'll be more about advice of how are you ready?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Have you thought long term? My personal experience has been X, and I've been, I'll just use myself. An example of, I've saved, but is it enough? And what have I done? We know that we were not brought up talking about money. It's like a taboo. ¿Qué dirán los otros, right? What would other people say? But at the end of the day, you really have to be mindful, because we could be in the most secure space, and sometimes the dynamics changes, but we still need to live on, and we're providers to our parents and children, even though they might be grown up, but they look for us for a legacy. Do we have one? I know Dr. Molina's story is really interesting, from El Salvador, attended Harvard, didn't know English. She became a dentist and now owns her own practice. And one of her daughters is eventually taking over the business. But, that's the legacy, right? But what's the hardship that she went through? Many of us have been married and divorced, and divorce can wreck us. But, I've been where I've seen rock bottom. I haven't hit rock bottom, but I know what that looks like. So we need to make sure that those that come behind us, you pull each other up, and you start saying, maybe if I didn't do this right, you have the opportunity to do so. And here's a way that you can do it in a safe space, meet others. You never know who you might meet. That could be your next best friend, right?
It's true.
And you have struggles that you share. But the goal is to, get educated at the same time, but also learn how you can be more productive.
No, I like it because it's all about leaving a legacy, women leaving a legacy. And back in the day, I mean, women, to rise up, it felt like they had to use their sexuality to rise up and stuff. I mean, you said it off camera earlier that you have a great reputation, which you do in the city of West Covina, because you didn't have to utilize what people have felt women had to do in the past. But now you're creating something, and then there's a lot of other events that are creating where women are they're smart, they're intelligent, they have what it takes. I mean, I have 2 daughters, and I share with them that you guys are smart, you're women, and I had to implement certain things in their lives, to leave that, like you said, a legacy, because it is your reputation. It's who you are when you walk into a room. I mean, if you're doing something big, it's a small industry, and everybody knows you. So it's about being that business person, but having that reputation and all those things that surrounds that. And that's what I'm getting out of what you putting this event together is teaching and sharing that we are women, and you don't have to be a certain way or do that. You could be strong and have that voice. And I mean, that's what I'm getting out of this event,
and
right?
even be vulnerable,
and be vulnerable.
We
Yes,
would love to wake up every day and be so strong, but there are days that we could be vulnerable, and that is okay. It's what you do within that time, and forgive yourself. Give yourself a little bit of forgiveness and
sometimes
empathy.
we're hard. We're too hard on ourselves.
We're very hard on ourselves, especially as women. I think men really don't understand. Seriously.
No, I don't. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Yes, I don't. We talked about that. So explain to me. I'm like, you just don't understand our way we think and our process.
And I don't know if we want to. I think we're in a safe place where we don't really need to do that. But in saying that, the other conversation we're going to have, and it's a really important one because Daryl and I lived it being business owners. At the time we opened our company, we had a really wonderful contract with the gas company for 12 years. We had 4 of our own children working for us and 1 grandson. Oh. And so we thought this was going to be a family business, a family legacy. And what many of our what we call mom and pop businesses or just family-owned businesses, the children don't want it. It's only a legacy if they want it. Mm-hmm. And they've watched how hard our grandparents have worked, how we worked, night and day. They don't want it. They really don't. And I think we need to give them that space to understand. I mean, I think I see kids all the time, on the weekend, they're at, the little bakeries or whatever with their grandparents or mother. But, they're in school, and when they graduate, they're gone. And we have to have that conversation that's okay. Their plan or our plan is not their plan, and nobody's talking about that, but we're living that reality. And so again, to your point of financial legacy, we always thought that we're building this financial empire because it's going to be the families. And then, what does that look like?
That's so true.
Right?
Because my daughters don't want anything to do what I do. They don't. They're in their prime, and like when I was in the movie industry, I wanted to get them. I got them managers and stuff, but they didn't want it. Mm-hmm. They said, "What you're doing is boring. I don't want it." And they wanted their own path, and I had to support them and their path that they want to do and stuff. So I understand. Yeah. Well, interesting.
No, that's wonderful.
What? I'll be honest. My daughters, you pray like, Lord, give them wisdom. And then you're like, Lord, bring back the wisdom. Just a little bit down, Lord. You gave them too much wisdom, Lord. Because now they want to tell me what to do. I'm like, my goodness. But, at home I have 3 wives. So, my daughters, my wife, and now a Frenchie tells me what to do, too. So everyone tells me. Penny.
Your little Penny.
But no, I love the fact that you guys are putting this event together, like I said, and I love, is there anything else we're missing or something else that, I know any other events that we're having, or are we just promoting this event?
Well, we not only do we have Faces of Resilience, but also in October, we're having a 3-part program called Ganas. So it is for businesses who have been around for like 2 years, have about 3 employees, and really want to take a look and learn how to scale. Meaning, do you have your business plan? What does that look like? Think like an entrepreneur. What is it that you need to help you grow? The second session is going to be on Listo procurement and contracts. So the chamber is excited to have Listo, which is the list, which is a boutique portal that's powered by the chamber, and it really helps businesses, not only our members, but really get contracts. We've been very fortunate to have members who have gotten contracts at need You could talk the language better than I could, like second tier.
So they'll need the subcontractors.
The subcontractors, yeah.
And with that, naturally, we were creating a mentorship protege program, which means the prime, someone like Daryl or Rudy, we have about 7 board members who are developers, and so they really have scaled up and are still now and are at a time now where once they get huge contracts, they can bring the opportunity to Listo. So we're not only allowing businesses to go into the portal and apply, we're pre-vetting them, and if at that time they're not ready, then we're identifying the strengths and the how do we build that capacity through programs and through other partnerships we have. So Ganas is really exactly what that means, because I think it's also going to give us a time, Olivia, to really have someone, say for instance, like myself, for instance, if that has this business for over 25 years, maybe I want to redirect my my strengths, and not only that, specify really is, do I really want to do what I'm doing, again, or has it opened myself to another possibility? And I said some of those businesses are doing that. It's going to give them the ability to take a look at, revisit what they're doing, where their strengths are, and even if they don't have those strengths, if it's just a desire to build on, skill sets and be mentored. Right now I'm mentoring 9 women businesses, and they are amazing. They're just amazing women who are really elevating at a time where they think they need to be elevated. They're elevating just because they're in the game and realizing that anything we do, they're so hungry for these opportunities and these partnerships we have. Every partnership we have is aligned with Listo and, of course, the 4 pillars. If it's programming, we want to draw you in and say, so what can you share with some of the businesses in what you're learning out there, And so it's a lot of conversations, and we're not really reinventing anything other than we're opening the ability and the capacity with our partners to say, hey, why don't you do some of this? And they're welcoming it because they're thinking, you know what? No one's ever asked us to do that. And, that's what they should be doing. They're...
And there's not that many other chambers who are doing what we're doing.
No.
So we pride in being unique, being a resource not only to the community or our members, but we will take calls from just about anyone. I've had many calls. It's usually a couple times a week when someone who is not a member calls just to get information. I'd be glad to get online, Google it for them, give them a phone number, give them a resource. There's so much information that we have. Why not share it?
That's right.
So whether I know the resource, and if I don't, I'll ask Anna, I'll ask Daryl, I'll ask someone.
You'll find out.
Yeah, you find out and you call them back. So we've been able to be a really good pool of resources for our community.
And I think the exciting thing too is to notice we laugh at each other because Saturday Daryl had called and said, do you want to go have coffee with this couple? They own a construction company, and they want to see if we have any opportunity for them. And I said, okay, so we go have coffee. He left first, and so I had a few things to do. So I went and I met him. When I walked in, it was such a funny and exciting thing to see this Asian couple sitting there. And the second I ordered my coffee, she goes, I was born and raised in Mexico, Anna. But, her name is Linda Chin, or it was so cute, though. And I was like, this is great.
Wow.
But it's not about that. It's about being good business partners.
Yes.
And
That's right.
let me tell you, I just love the fact that it told me a couple of things. I asked them if they were part of any chamber, and of course they're part of an Asian chamber, but they still wanted to partner with us. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it,
Nothing
yeah.
wrong, because I would love to see what they're offering, but at the same time, I think we're going to get more of that because we're diversifying not only what we're doing, but even our mindset and our capabilities and our commitment to just do more.
Yeah, and it's attracting others from the community as well. So when you ask, is the LA Latino Chamber just for Latinos? The answer is no.
Okay.
As long as you're a business in the LA area, but we have other members in San Diego, Sacramento, up in DC, Atlanta, San Antonio. We've partnered with the chamber there. So we're really a far and wide reach because we have those resources that are needed.
I love it. So what is Ganas?
Ganas.
What does it mean? I know this.
Oh, Don't ask me, please.
Well,
It's an acronym for.
It's a want.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
ganas.
'cause I think I've
you have
heard
to
of
have
it.
ganas.
got-
Ganas, yeah.
You know, who used to say that all the time is Senator Richard Polanco, who is a pillar in our community for many, many years. So I grew up knowing these strong men and businessmen in our community. Ganas was like, you got to have it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard,
Everybody
ganas.
does this, and I'm like, okay, whatever this
Yeah,
is.
like
we
my dad
gotta
used to
have
say.
it.
Yeah.
My dad used to always say to us, "Levántate, ándale, no tienes ganas, ándale." You know, you
Yeah,
have like
I've
all
heard
this
it so
desire,
much.
Yes,
Yes.
like it means like want, like you know, like I don't know. It's just it's
No,
a
I know.
very
I've
powerful
heard.
word.
I've heard of it a lot in the Spanish community. Ganas, you have some ganas, and so but I just didn't know.
But it's
I
not a
kinda-
negative, it's a
no,
positive.
I'm not saying it's a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always knew it was a positive, but it was like, I mean, I'll see off camera what I thought it meant. So,
And it's universal because we didn't name this program. We got awarded it
from the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and through Wells Fargo. So GANAS is an acronym, but I can't remember exactly what it is, so I'm so
Because
sorry.
it's
No, it's fine. Yeah.
So there's a three. So back to the three parts. So the first part is going to be the presenter is Chase. They're going to be talking about business strategy. So is your plan in place? Think like an entrepreneur. How do you work with people in your own organization? The second is with procurement and contracting. So that's the one with Listo. Our chairman's going to be the presenter on that. And then the third part is AI infrastructure. So that's by Roberto Martinez, who's the California Google coach, and he does a lot of training for Google, and so those are the
sounds
subject
really
matter
good. I
experts
like
for
that.
that. So it's a 3-part series starting October 9th, 16th, and the 23rd. So 3
okay.
consecutive Thursdays. And at the end, for those that register for all 3 and attend all 3, there's going to be a $2,500 grant. And the grant is unrestricted, meaning, you know, you could use it for what you need in your business. So whether it's office supplies, office equipment, you need a new computer, things that will help your business get more structured. And, you know, with tax season around the corner, we know that sometimes you're in a bind because you've paid taxes and now you're short. I think this grant will be really useful.
Oh,
No,
wow,
I
that's
love it.
wonderful. So we have you know different viewers, and so if some of our members from Greater West Covina in this area wanted to attend your events, do they have to be chamber members? Are they able to attend by simply going into the portal and signing up
Yeah,
for these
so
events?
these 2 events are open to the public, so you can attend Faces of Resilience. You know, capacity is 125, and we'll close it at, when we reach that limit. And then the Ganas program is also open to the public. We do have some member events, but that we don't have anything planned for the remainder of the year. But in the past, we've had, you know, by being the advantages of being a chamber member is that you get to participate in member-only programs.
Right.
So in the past, we've had Elevate Together that was supported by Office Depot and the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, where we gathered a cohort that got mentoring, and at the end of the mentoring, they had, you know, there were some requirements, but were eligible for a $5,000 grant, and that was through an application process. And so this time we thought that, you know, we get so much support that it's now time to give back. And through this grant, we feel that it's not only necessary at this point, but it will entice someone to really look at us and hopefully become a member.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so anyone can sign up at lalcc.org, if I could plug that.
Oh yes, of course.
So, and I'm sure you could, you know, add it to your caption so folks can register.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put it underneath and stuff.
So I have a question for Anna. I know you said you're mentoring. Did you say, what was the number of lady? 9. Can I be your number 10?
Yes, you may.
All right. Thank you.
You know, I have to say this. I mean, I know I can't say this because you are a God-fearing woman.
Amen.
And I love the fact that, because we got to get going, but I love the fact, because when I see you and Daryl, the way I share about you two to my friends is that you guys are like pastors. You move in a pastor's wife. I'm sorry, I'm going spiritual. I don't care. But you move in that way, and I believe because when now that you're telling me you're discipling, almost like discipling 9 women, 10 women, and then you're helping women, and then you're moving in a gift. I don't even know if you know that you have. I mean, because that's how I see it. It's a pastoral wife. A gift on you, and then Daryl too. I mean, he's like a pastor, and you guys move and you guys all just move in a certain way. But I just wanted to say that, keep moving in that way. I think that's what's attracting a lot of women to you, and a lot of men to Daryl and stuff, and because you just have that heart. You have that heart, and it comes from God, right?
Yes.
It comes from God.
Yes.
So
No, that's beautiful. No, I definitely would love to be, mentored and get your advice. Of course, Olivia already adopted me, so I'm going to be learning a lot.
Wow,
And,
no one's adopted me. Wow, Daryl.
You know what's wonderful
Hey,
about
with
these
her.
women that I mentor? Many a times, I'm just the sounding board of a woman who really knows. And they ask questions, and I usually answer them with questions of their own. And it's a beautiful thing, because in this time, it has caused us to reflect the fact that we become uncertain about a lot of things. But what we do need to know, again, to your point, is there are things in my life that are so certain. And I move that way, and I wake up every day imperfect in this imperfect world, but I know who is perfect.
Well,
And so, again, I am so grateful to be working with this woman and to be praying over my husband daily, and
I pray for them both.
I just love,
It's a blessing.
just God drawing people like you to us, and realize we got work to do. We got
Yeah.
lots of work to do.
Yes, we have a lot of
And
work to
together we could conquer more.
I'm excited.
Yes, no, and publicly, I want to really thank you guys, because we
Yes.
have learned a lot. We have met some wonderful people, and I feel that it's a gift. Like when you offer help, like I take it as, wow, thank you. Because there's only so much that we could do on our own, and if we don't try to learn from other people, then we become stuck. And I don't want to be stuck. I want to have something to look forward to every day. I want to be able to bring prayer to my work and to everything that I do, because it's important to me. And I've been told in previous years that I'm too what was that word, that I'm too Christian. That's what I've been told, and it really caused me to take a step back, and I didn't feel fulfilled when I didn't share from my spiritual perspective, and it's not like and in these times, with everything that has happened, it's really sad. But right now I'm super thrilled, because we have a huge month. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're excited because you guys are collaborating with us, and it's a great time to reach more people through our platform. And I hope you guys, I hope we can invite, everybody from the Latino Chamber, to join us, because it's important. And hopefully, you guys will be here to share, what all the great things that you guys are doing through the,
Together
through
we
what you're
do really
doing.
great work. I'm really blessed to be there. Everything, has brought me to where I'm at now. And it's through great leadership, Anna, Darrow, including the board. Every single day I learn something.
Yeah.
The day I stop learning is the day I get bored, the day I move on, right? But there's so much great work that we're doing. As a matter of fact, last night I got an email, and I'll share it. I had recommended someone for an Intuit program. So they finished the program, and they got a $5,000 grant.
Oh, wow.
So that made my day. So
That's
So you
awesome.
talk about living in gratitude. It wasn't for me. It's what you give to others, And so I've always believed that what you give comes back eventually.
It
Right.
does. It really does. It really does. But anything else? Any last words?
I want to commend you too for leading the charge with this Hispanic Heritage Month for the great city
thank
of
you.
West Covina, because it's so much more than West Covina, but more importantly, and it's so much more than a month.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
We
It
are
goes
living
beyond that.
this
Yeah.
heritage
Every day.
every single day.
Every
but
day.
if we could shine light for 1 month and just let people know that this is something that we're committed to every day of the year,
Every
but
day.
let's make sure that we show up for you and all the work that you're putting into this. I
thank
can
you.
only imagine. And we definitely are going to be
Yes.
here the 24th and every other day after that.
3 consecutive
Yes,
Wednesdays.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I applaud you. And
This office will be a mess.
I love that. I mean,
Well,
things
let
are
us know if you need volunteers. We'd be
No,
happy to,
yes.
to contribute to the cause.
Absolutely. But thank you so much. And again, if you guys are not following the LA Latino Chamber, you guys are missing out on
Yes.
so much. I mean, we as the Greater West Covina, and that's my policy, and I should probably apply it to my to like
Our mission
like
statement, yeah.
if you're a member of the Greater West Covina, I have always told all my members, and you guys can attest to that. Spread your wings, explore other chambers and what they are doing, because you know what? If you're only part of one chamber, you're missing out on so much more. Now with this partnership, as you guys, heard from these beautiful ladies, they are doing so much, and there's so much that you could do with your business. So make sure you guys, are following them, and thank you again for being a member. And we look forward to seeing you guys here, Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes, Hispanic Heritage, September 24th, October 1st, and October 8th, 5:30 p.m. We got the red carpet. We got all kinds of performers. We ending the whole thing. We got Mariachi Divas coming out on October 8th as well. So we're really excited. But thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you guys next week, 7 a.m. every Monday. So until then, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching Let's Connect Now. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you want to be a sponsor, contact us today.